Is the photo of the year. This picture was taken today, July 4th, 2026, America's 250th anniversary. This is a photo of a black woman sitting on the DC Metro surrounded by white supremacist members of the Patriot Front. If you never heard of the Patriot Front, they are a white nationalist organization that was created after the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in August of 2017. And this is what they're about in their own words. Pause to read. Been deemed a white supremacist hate group by both the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League. And if you're more of a visual learner, here is a video of them marching today in Washington, D.C., carrying Confederate flags. This picture is not only representative of what America really is, but it's representative of the black experience in America. A black woman surrounded on all sides by people who would hang her from a tree if they could. People whose identities are concealed because they're your policemen, your lawyers, your teachers, your doctors, and they'll get to go back to work on Monday. Business as usual. As for that black woman, she has to sit there and stare white supremacy in the face and just be silent.
Back now with Preston and Tim. Tim, what do you make of this photograph? And can you imagine this woman sitting there? She did not look like she was scared at all, by the way.
Not one bit. Not one.
Yeah.
First of all, it's an amazing contrast, right? You've got, I don't know, in that particular car, maybe 100 white guys. They're all afraid, as evidenced by their masks. They are far more afraid of that young woman than she is of them. I guarantee you that. Because she knows this country far better than they do. She understands the deal. She understands the assignment as well. She knows how it is to resist that every single day. And what she sees in those boys all around her is their fear of her. And she is standing up to them by showing up every day, wherever she's headed, whatever she's doing. She understands what it is to be black in this country, to be a black woman in this country, to know that this administration is responsible for an all-out war, not just on black people in particular, but black women specifically, right? Hundreds of thousands of black women who've lost their jobs as a result of a very deliberate war on them, both within the federal bureaucracy and also private sector DEI jobs and other and DEI positions, critical DEI positions that have specifically hurt black women. So she knows that she is under attack. And yet she doesn't look afraid. They're the ones who were masked. So she is teaching a history lesson to anyone who is prepared to see it. And it brings to mind, you quoted Baldwin earlier. You know, Baldwin said these innocent people, speaking of white folks and very sarcastically, these innocent people are trapped in a history they do not understand. And until they understand it, they cannot be released from it. She understands the history. These boys do not. That's why they think they have Aryan victory, because they got 400 people together. 400 people. They think that's Aryan victory. She's on the car looking at them like, you know, whatever y'all are. And that T-shirt she's got on, I don't know what the shirt, but that one word that I can read says original. I think that's interesting too, because black folks are as much the original Americans in that regard. Like in terms of what it means to be an American in this country, black folks are as omni-American, as original American as you can be, because black folks are the only ones that actually ever really believed what we said it meant to be an American, the only ones who actually believed the words of the Declaration, the only ones who actually believed the words in the Constitution, the only ones who actually believed what white folks said this country was. And so that contrast too, I find fascinating.
She is a better person than me, Preston. You know, I might have had some hands might have been thrown. I'm serious, thrown. And I mean, if you look around, especially this, there's another photograph. It's not, I don't believe it's as powerful at this, but it's still close. And that is, I don't know if you can see it there. There's a black man right in the middle of all of these people. And I always say, you know, not that I think that I am, how do I say this without sounding uppity? I'm going there. When people say, well, you know, blah, 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 and I said, well, if anybody is deserving of this, if anybody's deserving of that, it's me. Who built, I didn't have, you know, who actually did do the thing that they always say people should do, is that pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? Mm-hmm. I had a lot of help, but there were a lot of bootstraps along the way of many different ethnicities and genders who helped me. But I said, if I am deserving of the American dream, I don't know anyone that's more deserving of the American dream than someone like me. So what the fuck are you talking about when you say, well, you didn't do this and you're a DEI hire? And you're just like, bullshit. Do you know what, Tim, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. Go ahead.
No, It's real. Listen, Bacon's Rebellion really tricked a lot of white people into believing they're somehow like better than black folks, and I find it so fascinating, right? Like white. Whenever people talk about this idea that like some white people, like poor white folks, are not voting in their interest, I have to pause them and remind them of history, because the truth is, the reality is whiteness is their interest.
That's it.
Preserving whiteness is their interest. And that's true even if it's to the exclusion of other parts of their identity that they need more support in. And we have a lot of history to thank for that, but especially Bacon's Rebellion, which went out the way like to make sure that people knew that we could actually be connected together, poor black folks and poor white folks. Like, and the thing about this photo, I have so many things to say, because to your point, Don, there is actually, I love people. I love black people because there is a space and time for all of us. Because as for me, I could not have been on that metro in that moment. I can assure you I wouldn't have been quiet. The photo would have looked very differently. And I'm so grateful that people know themselves enough to know that they can actually be patient enough to just continue on about their day. She was probably going to work, chilling, like she was not worried about these people. And the reality is the woman in this photo is the only identifiable face, right? We've already said this, but she's a mass, right? Like individual. She's clearly showing her humanity. The surrounding men, the cowards, right? They're clearly indistinguishable from one another. Matching clothes, their Target outfits, right? Their masks, their sunglasses. Suddenly they're wearing masks, even though they don't believe in COVID, never believed that was a thing. But now they suddenly do when they don't actually want to show you who they are. But I really appreciate this photo, right? Because she occupies the visual center of this frame. And so she's impossible to ignore. Her facial expression is impossible to ignore. And then it's just a very visual theme in terms of visibility, right? Like she bears all of the vulnerability, right? Her race, her gender, her identity, they're all visible. They're all distinctly hers. And so the setting matters too in this instance, right? Because we're not just thinking about a public protest. It's a metro car, right? A routine source of transportation that many DC residents and DMV residents take every single day. And whereas they don't know that, most of them don't live here. Some of them probably do, to be honest, but most of them do not live here. But yes, I really understand the importance of discussing Rosa Parks, Claudette Colvin, and others who we clearly need to recognize as focal points within the Black experience. I'm just grateful that she's just not bothered by their presence. And frankly, it's because if you're Black in this country, you've been surrounded by whiteness our entire lives and the worst parts of whiteness.
Yeah. Preston, this weekend, someone reminded me, the reason I was reminded of that is one of my friends says, you know what Dineva, you know who Dineva is, right? Funky Dineva. He said, Don, you know, Dineva called you the hope and dream of the slave. I was like, you know what, Dineva, you're right. And I don't mean just me. I mean others like me. There are millions of others who are like me, the hope and dream of the slave. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. We've worked hard, and I'll be damned if these people make it seem like that we did not earn our stripes just because somehow they believe they're more beholden to the American dream. That would not be possible without the work of Black people.
Yeah. Tim, I know you want to get in on this because we've talked about this before.
It's so hard to even think of what else to say. This picture is so incredibly pathetic. I mean, for these white guys, it's incredible for her. I mean, I hope that she is as proud of herself as we are of her. She should be. You know, we're sitting talking about her in this sort of indirect way, and yes, I think the photographer is going to win an award. I hope she gets, you know, her flowers as much as the photographer does, because
you're right, Tim. Internet, do your thing, because I want to interview her. I want to give her flowers. But Tim, I want to ask you about this. Can I ask you about Flo Balogun? Because that was when I'm like, wait, he had to call to get Flo Balogun back on the playing field because he wanted the American team to win. And it's like they're always calling us in, meaning people of color, immigrants, or whatever, the underserved community, when they need us. Otherwise, they're trying to erase us, which is what I said in the thing. And so just the irony of it. And as I was watching from overseas, I was like, ain't this some shit? Like looking at it from over here, man, America looks really dumb right now. I mean, meaning Trump.
Yeah, I mean, it just, again, it's just one more irony, right? That you, on the one hand, you know, you will bend the rules when it serves your interest to win an athletic competition, but then you want to kick those very same people out of the country. The soccer team in question is the best representation of what this country is and what this country has that makes it special, which is this incredibly diverse representation, not only of talent, but of humanity. That is what makes that is the only thing that one can really say about this country that in many ways makes it special. And because, I mean, you know, every country's special in its own way. Every country's got amazing people. But one of the things about this country is that it is this incredible amalgamation of so many different people from so many different places. And that's the one thing that they don't love. That's the one thing that they don't like. That's the one thing that they cannot stand. Stephen Miller hates the one thing about this country that makes it different from the place that his ancestors came from. JD Vance hates the one thing that makes this country what it is. Donald Trump hates the one. I mean, they will say that those of us to the left of the dial hate America, but we are the only ones that actually love America as it is. These are people who love America as it was or as they believed it to be, because again, as Baldwin says, America never was a white country. Right. Those of us who were white had the luxury of believing that it was, because we never had to know any better than that. It was never a white country. But if you believe that it was, then you have the luxury of believing that people who are, quote unquote, birthright citizens aren't actually as real as other people until it's convenient for them to be real so that you can win a soccer match. And it is pathetic because what Trump did actually now casts a mark upon these men's accomplishment, because under the FIFA rules, the United States team should actually now be disqualified under FIFA rules because you're not supposed to have governmental interference. I don't want that to happen because those men have worked incredibly hard. Now, there was some controversy over whether there should have been a red card in that instance in the first place, but that should have been handled by FIFA without the interference of the president of the United States, because now the European Union, understandably so, is pissed off because the FIFA rules have been broken to accommodate this asshole, and the head of FIFA, who gave him this ridiculous made-up peace prize, is seen as compromised. So now there's going to be this asterisk if they go on to potentially win the World Cup or even get into the finals or something. I mean, you know, it's, again, Trump doesn't believe in rules. And this is going to end up besmirching the accomplishments of some really amazing soccer players because he can't just leave well enough alone. You know, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, just to add a little bit there too, Tim, completely agree with you. Don, the thing that really frustrates me, and I think it's really sad and sickening about Trump in this instance, is that, like, we are all correct, just to be clear. Obviously, I think we know that. The sad truth is, though, Trump would say that someone like Bulligan is reifying or reimagining the American dream. Trump wouldn't even think about the fact that I'm actually a racist, I dislike Black people, and I'm doing this for USA. He is actually, I'm sure, saying this is what I mean by Black folks picking themselves up by their bootstraps, not being lazy, not just being downtrodden, actually doing something for this country. He doesn't even recognize, like, this is interference, governmental interference, violation of rules. He doesn't care about rules at all. In his head, I guarantee you, he is going to actually catapult him to someone who's like, see, this is what I mean. You can make it too if you get off your couch and stop being lazy.
Right. Wow. Get off your couch and stop being lazy.
That's true. He does love Black athletes. He always has loved Black athletes, Black entertainers, and he'll ignore the birthright citizenship part. Because he'll always make exceptions like that, because he probably doesn't have a particularly strong opinion about that at all. He probably doesn't even understand what birthright citizenship. He doesn't understand it.
He doesn't get it.
He doesn't understand it.
He doesn't. He thinks asylum, when he says people came over to claim asylum, he thinks it's like people
mental
with mental
institution.
issues.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
But
we didn't even
he
get to
understands
talk.
it for white South Africans, though, so I guess he gets it a little better now.
He gets that.
He is
Thank
learning.
you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Preston Mitchum, I loved having you on for the first time. I want you to come back if you will. I think your work is great. Tim Wise, you know, old friend, you already know. Thank you both, gentlemen. All right. I appreciate you joining today.
Thank you.